What's going on, buddy? This is Roster of the Misfit Effects. And of course, I'm joined with my wonderful, beautiful, very flexible, very sexy co-host, the lovely Sarah Lace.
It's because I said it last time, flexible, that you forgot to mention it, huh?
Well, I
Oh
I
my
started to
God.
add it because I had to edit so a picture over where your who was in the in the
It
in the
wasn't
in the
showing.
yeah, just in the censored version just in case. And then if they go on to the OnlyFans version of it, it's just all in its glory.
Hey, we like being naughty up in here.
I
Speaking of naughty,
I just gotta
let
keep
me.
it PG for YouTube. Go ahead.
Hey, that's true. That's true. But today, let me introduce you actually the woman of many names. I met her at Exotica, I would say about 3 years ago, maybe. We've
Yeah.
seen each other every once in a while. I actually met her by the name of Gia Lovely, but now, what is it, beautiful?
Hi everyone, I'm Kara Zuri. That's what I go by. That is my name. Um, but yes, I was once Jill Lovely,
Because
Mary Jane. I have lots of names people like to call me.
after a while, I was like, wait a minute, I could have sworn her name was Gia. It's Kara? Have I been saying the name wrong this whole time? And then you explained it to me, and I was like, whew, okay, okay.
Well, it's interesting because I actually currently go to school for psychology, and in one of my psychology classes, I learned about abnormalities and things, and I learned I had dissociative identity disorder. And it's one of those things where I don't think I could be Kara if it wasn't for Mary Jane and Gia and that transformation that caused me to kind of step into, who I, truly am, which is, Kara. So
So essentially, each name was a part of your evolution.
basically, basically. I want to say that people see me with three different phones and they're like, "Oh my gosh, girl! Like, how do you do it?" And I'm like, "Well, I have three different names. This is my, this is my Kara phone. This is my Gia phone, my Mary Jane phone." But yeah, so
Hey, that's beautiful. I need a Mary Jane phone though.
it's actually interesting because, um, I do. I've always been, Mary Jane. I have my pot leaf on my ass, and and then I became, into the psychedelics and psychedelic therapy, which is what I'm gonna pursue past psychology is psychedelic therapy. And it's just interesting because I've gotten to the point where I'm tapping into my spirituality and I'm actually tapping into sobriety. And what is it? Today's the 4th. So on the 6th, my my medical marijuana card expires. And so I'm just like, you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time to take that break. And so I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to renew it. And I'm going to just, start meditating more, yoga, all of that. And going to actually, stop the marijuana. I'll miss
See,
it very, very dearly.
luckily you don't live out here in LA, well, in California, because it's completely legal, as of right now, and like, yeah, you don't need a card. And I know the state that you're in, not gonna dox you, um, and you still need a card for it. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to lie. I personally, um, my view my view is really like it should kind of remain medical. If it's not going to remain medical, then it needs to be legal all around the board. Like it shouldn't be just like in states per states. Like if y'all are going to make it legal for people to be able to grow their own medicine, come in, come in, to like grow their own weed and stuff like that, then you should do that. But if y'all, if you're gonna have it medically, then it should be medically all around the board. And that's the thing is with weed in Cali, I'll never go and spend a lot of money on their weed, because a lot of the times it's got a lot of pesticides and things in it, and it really is it's tragic. I'm more of like a organic kind of girl.
Mhm.
Well, it also depends. Like I know, like I don't smoke a lot, whatever. I rarely ever do it. And I have a rule not to do it after a certain hour of the day. But so I never can really compare I want to say the taste.
Mhm.
Because I know like I'm more of a sativa guy anyway. So I know ones that are like stronger than others, but I don't understand the taste of others. I would say it like that.
Oh, see, at this point, I feel like I can consider myself a bit of a connoisseur because I feel like I can actually kind of taste the notes
What are we gonna do?
of a certain strain. Like you can kind of taste it's like coffee in a sense, where after you've actually like truly enjoyed it for a while and really sipped on it and tasted it, you'll start to understand different flavors and notes
Mm-hmm.
and how certain things would affect you.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Actually, the first time, because like I said, I was raised Mormon. So I was raised Mormon, and I didn't start smoking weed until I met my first husband, and I met him in college when I was 16. So when my parents found out that I was smoking weed, my mother, who was really in the church, she wasn't having it. But my father, he was like, all right, well, if you think that we should allow you to do this, like, I want an essay as to why you think you need to do this. And sure enough, I wrote a pretty damn good essay, because he couldn't tell me that I couldn't really get high anymore, because I think it's one of those things that when I knew what it did for me and how it affected me and helped me, I wasn't smoking just to get high. I was
Mm-hmm.
I was smoking for my PTSD and my depression and anxiety, and that's how it helped me and stuff like that. And so I was able to that's kind of always been my thing, is I always wanted to be someone that had my own herb shop, and I had
Mm-hmm.
my own, clones so they could grow their own stuff, and so that's the far goal, but I'll be there one day.
Yeah, that would be beautiful. I'll be honest, I don't know what it all takes, but I know there's a whole bunch of licensing and this and that, whatever. So it's definitely a difficult step to take, but I feel like you can absolutely do it,
Mm-hmm.
especially with that psychological background. And I feel like within that, you also want to learn about like a little bit of botany within itself. You know,
Definitely,
so I
definitely.
feel like that background would definitely help you have your own little shop.
Yeah, well, because when I was Mary Jane, I was a little gypsy, so I was traveling around the United States, and I definitely had some time in California, and
Mhm.
I was growing for some time, head harvester up in Washington, Matawalk. So did that. I was living in Taos, New Mexico, and that's when I kind of stepped into the you know um, psilocybin kind of route of things.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I feel like I've lived a decent amount of life,
Hmm.
where
You've
I'm just like, all
explored.
right, I'm ready to sit back and kind of soak it all in and write about
I get that.
it. So.
The thing is like I just like I've never grown anything, but then I've only seen in person like one time of them growing like somewhere. And like I know that it's so much that goes into it that some people don't understand to grow it right
Mhm.
and
Mm.
not and to grow it without it being dirt.
Yeah,
It's
it gets
like
contaminated very
yeah,
easily.
like dirt weed.
Dirt
So
weed.
like yeah, I don't know how else to say it. Like dirt, like you'll still get high, but it's not the stuff that you want to put you want to consume.
Yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's that sensimilla. That's what they call it. They but like I said before, I feel like it's a mental thing. I feel like once you get to a certain high, like you can't really get higher unless it's something mentally that you kind of strive for. If you want to get higher, then you're good.
Yeah, I could see that. And mind you, this is why it genuinely pays to be a connoisseur, because I feel like when you get stoned, you kind of think about like, what do I want to get stoned for? You know, like, do I want to feel more creative? Do I want to clean the house? Do I
Hmm.
want to like do this or that? And you're able to actually pick strains according to the results that you want.
Yeah, of course. That's why I've always, I was always an indica person, but now I've really tapped into, now that I've been able to like kind of, okay, cope with my PTSD and my triggers. It's more so now indica kind of really actually does put me on my behind. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm trying to go towards sativa now because, I like to stay active. I personally, that's the thing. It's like, hey, if you're gonna get high and do like nothing, I understand if you need to relax and chill or go to bed, that's one thing. But if you're just gonna get high all day and do nothing, like I feel like it's pointless. Like, I'm really big on being creative, being productive on your high. Like, and
Mm-hmm. I
that's just,
love taking a bong rip and then just having my journal and then just
yeah.
journaling for as long as the high lets me, or because sometimes you end up just like writing or talking for like a solid hour and a half. Then you're
Hmm.
like, wow, I really did all that.
See,
Yep.
I know like the reason I always say I don't smoke past 5 o'clock is mainly because I know that I work better and think better during the night hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that for me, sometimes it could make me very sleepy and not want to do anything. So I say like, okay, this is my hard stop point. And once I hit this hour, I won't feel any effects. And that's unless I take an edible and then I randomly feel it like 7 hours later,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the edible. So and thing is like smoking weed usually doesn't get me high, but you never know. Like you might end up smoking
Yeah.
that one joint that
You
one
never
day.
know. It's that
Yeah,
edible. It's that edible once in a while that really puts you on your ass.
I
But
wrote.
I respect that because I feel like, I don't judge anybody. I don't judge by whatever they decide to do as far as substances or what they do to do stuff or help them. But I do feel like boundaries, whatever it is definitely something that is necessary in it. So, you do have your boundary that you got to stop at this time. And so like that,
Mm-hmm.
regulates it. So I feel like that's always a necessity in, you know, practicing with these things and doing these things for sure.
Yeah,
Exactly.
if my
Like
mom.
as simple as not smoking before you go to set.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, and it's one of those things where I just don't like people when they're like, oh, I can do this vice, because there's vices, like even
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, even food, people have their vices, whatever it is they
Mm-hmm.
do it. But just for somebody to tell me that what they do is okay and better than what I do, and I'm just like, first off, it's the same damn thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just in a different form. And just because I have it done a certain way and you do it a certain way, it doesn't make yours way better than mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
Exactly.
is like, definitely you got to be responsible.
You have to respect others' decisions too.
yeah.
Mm.
I feel that like everybody's gonna have their own opinion about whatever, but I also feel that there should be no time where you should dictate or tell somebody, well, you need to do this or you need to stop doing this for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, based upon what you think
I
is
like
right, whatever. Like some people, weed might help them deal with, as you said before, stress, relaxation, pain, and things like that. But for you, it may not be your advice. So there should be a reason why. I mean, like, because when it comes to like weed is not as divisive, like to your
Mm-hmm.
body as some of the other things that are out here in
I
this
mean,
world.
that is true, but it also depends because that's the thing is like there's some people that should not smoke weed. You know what I mean? Like there's some people that aren't made for it. There's just
Yeah.
different things that people are made for and react differently because we do have different, things in our brain or ways we work.
Yeah.
That so.
Hmm. For example, my neighbor that always waters my plants when I'm out of town, I've like offered her to like come and smoke with me. And she actually has told me that that makes her super paranoid. It doesn't matter what strain she tries, she just cannot handle it. And I'm like, okay, let me buy you a bottle. I'm just like,
Yeah,
okay, let me just say thank you with a different vice.
exactly. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? That's
Yeah, I just
where,
bought her a bottle of wine and called it a day.
but it's just crazy because that's the thing is like, I I've always used these things to get by or to help me. Um, and I've had to like use them to help me learn how to do it without them, I guess, basically.
Mhm.
Because that's where I'm at now is obviously learning how to deal with things just on my own, which I believe everybody should be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why I stepped really into my spirituality because our biggest thing is okay, well, it's kind of once you stop doing things for sense gratification that you really get to that point where you are in contentment or happiness because you're not going to continue to look for some sense enjoyment, which um I really was drawn to, and it's definitely full circle and a whole 360, from going to where I started to where I'm going now, and it'll be interesting. It'll be nice to be able to like pat myself on the back and be like, "Oh, you did this."
It's
People,
all just a journey on finding yourself.
yeah, exactly. Um,
I
so
couldn't,
it'll be nice.
and going back to what you said earlier, I couldn't imagine myself attempting to tell my mother, like, so yeah, this is why I need to smoke marijuana.
Well,
And
me
Write
and
an
my
essay.
parents.
I love that idea, though. I honestly do.
Oh, my dad. Oh yeah, he's a riot. He's my favorite person in the world. But it is funny because like I said, I've gone through a lot, and my parents, of all people, they've always kind of had my back in a way. Like obviously, they didn't like support the bad things that I've done in my life, but
Of
they've
course.
always been here to help me grow and support me to the best of their ability.
Mm-hmm.
And I could never have been like, oh, I can't tell my parents this or I can't be honest with them because they do help me. And like even with the industry stuff, I told them right off rip like what I was doing, because I can't lie to them, and that's the least I deserve to give them is like, hey, like if you do, you know, you can't reach me or you can't find me or something's going on, like you at least know like
What I'm up to.
what I'm up to. So but yeah, so I've been full, I'm an Aries. I'll give it to you. I don't mind.
That's what
There,
my mom is.
yeah, I don't like people using things against me,
Mm-hmm.
especially things that they think like they can use against me and nobody else knows. And I'm like, well, too bad that everybody knows like everything that I do.
Exactly.
So,
I'm still
And
learning
it's like,
more about that, the entire like outside of just knowing I'm a Capricorn, but knowing like all the extra stuff, like
oh, you're a
you know
cat.
the I'm a 100% Capricorn. Like whenever I look it up and they say these are the traits of a Capricorn, all of those are me. Like I overwork myself. I am too practical. Like, you know what I'm going to do is what I forget the word for it. Like the entire trait process, 100% me. And like I'm like, yeah,
hey, that's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah, I'm dealing with my first Capricorn right now. Actually, my partner's a Capricorn, so it's totally him as well. But I like
it
Capricorns. I
matters.
don't I don't I don't mind
December
at
or
all.
January Capricorn.
It's December. It's late
We're
December.
a big difference.
Yeah.
It is such like, and I didn't realize this until much later, but like, I don't know if it's whatever it is, but like, people always feel that like December Capricorns are more dominant, and the January Capricorns are more docile.
I don't think I've met a January Cap.
I'm a January Cap.
Well, you have, but yeah, well, we've met like for like,
For like 5 minutes, huh?
yeah, 5, 10 minutes.
Right?
When
Exactly.
I was
Yeah.
tired, ready to go, take my shoes off and go home.
And I suck at your card.
Mhm.
So
Ay. But yeah,
they're
Look,
all
we
right
yeah,
here
hand
in
out
front of
those
me.
I put
business
a lot of
cards
work into
like
my merch.
candy, okay?
No, I love her. Like y'all can't see it because I'm not on camera, but like I love her card. Like I have all the cards I got from X3 in front of me, but
Mhm.
like I love her. Like she has a blue card with butterflies on it. It's really cute. It's really really cute.
Yeah, I like
But
butterflies.
It really sounds like her, it sounds like your themes and your enjoyments, because how
Yeah.
many butterfly tattoos do you have? Because I feel like I asked you this time, last time.
like
Um,
I can see like nine in front of us.
Believe it
Exactly.
or
That's what I'm
not,
saying.
you're
Like it
hilarious.
makes so much sense for
So,
butterflies in the business card.
so I do love butterflies. But this is actually, I'm surprised I don't have any more butterflies than this. But this is like my one butterfly tattoo, and what I have here is like I obviously can't like show my tits, but
I mean,
so
Yeah.
you
I
can
have
show it for YouTube, but do what you
We
it's
need
do.
to
like a
count the butterflies. Let's sit here and count down the
here's
cleavage.
I don't even
One.
know, but so it's like a corpse bride rendition of like my own kind of like so these butterflies are coming out of the chest, the coffin with the three. And that
Yeah.
basically, three means transcendence to me. So it's basically, me at my death transcending into like all of these butterflies. It kind of is a Corpse Bride rendition if you've seen Corpse Bride, where she finally is freed at
Or
the
so
end and
like
she becomes
with the
all of the butterflies. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Because I have like my whole Tim Burton sleeve. So it kind of
Okay.
goes there. I gotta finish
Okay.
it. I'm actually my
I'm trying
next
to see
one's gonna be
who's there.
so this is Edward Scissorhands.
Okay.
Oh, that's
And then I
awesome.
have Vincent. That was his short film that he ever made about Vincent Price.
Hmm.
And then I have Mars Attacks, Beetlejuice,
I love
Catwoman, and
that Beetlejuice
Oh,
one.
Catwoman.
Is
so
that Frankenweenie?
yeah, Frankenweenie.
Frankie
That
Beanie.
is so cute. I'm sorry.
God, I haven't seen that in forever. Like since it first came out. I swear.
Yeah. It's funny
Yeah.
because I want to watch it like every other day, and I'm like, sitting down, about to have dinner with my partner, and we're about to watch a movie or something, and I go straight to
Mhm.
Disney. He was like, "This
Right?
is one of the reasons why you are the way you are." Yeah, because Disney raised me '90s.
Right.
Hmm.
I
And
mean,
mind you, I am not a scary movie person. So when Halloween time comes, I go to Disney because it's gonna be like child friendly scares, and I'm like, all right, I can handle that.
yeah, I told my mom once I have like if I have any kids, they're gonna love the fact I only watch Disney. But anyway, that's another another day. Like I like your arm though. Your arm thinking that's
Thank you.
great. I got like all my tattoos are so hidden that unless you know I had them, you would never know I had them. Except for the one on my leg, but I'm always wearing pants. So
Well, that's good. That's a good thing, though. That it's definitely a good thing.
Mhm.
I wonder when I decided I didn't care that people could see my tattoos.
well, I only did it because of like work purposes and
Mhm.
Yeah.
like
Well,
for what I.
exactly. That's a good reason. It's a great reason.
But the thing is, like one of my business partners, she has a full arm, so it doesn't
Mhm.
really matter.
It's
So
2025.
Yeah, I was about to say because nowadays I think it's very like amazing to see like doctors with like full sleeves and neck
Yeah, it
tattoos,
is. It is.
and them essentially being like, "Yo, me having this tattoo did not stop me from getting a doctorate."
I would say that
I love doing
she
that.
didn't approve. My mom didn't approve of my first tattoo
Hmm.
because she didn't want me to ink my body. But after my third one, she just knew that she couldn't. It wasn't gonna. I have four tattoos, so it's like after my third one, she realized that I'm gonna do me. Only and I, but the thing is, I only have four, so it's not like I have a plethora like you do. You know.
Mhm. Hey, they get a look, they get addicting a little piece. It's funny because when when I did, when I first got sober, my tattoo artist, he was really the one that was like, I've never seen you not be high for a tattoo. He was like, this is pretty cool. And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, you're gonna hate me because there was one that was ran all the way up my back to
Oh
my
yeah.
spine. And I was like, I don't hate you. I just want to hit you. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, man, I was like, just get done already. But it was funny. But
Yeah.
I know my third tattoo made me not want to
it's
get
therapy.
it
It's
didn't want it
therapy.
made me not want to
That.
get another tattoo ever because it was so damn painful. Because
Mhm.
it was on my my right titty.
Oh,
And
that's a hard part. That's a hard part.
and the thing was
Red
like
titty.
my muscle kept jumping while he was
Hmm.
doing it. So he kept having to go over it because like my titty kept jumping. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was a lot of straight lines because he was writing names. Because
Oof.
like on my titty, it said it's a rose, and he was drawing the outline of the rose, but it's
Mhm.
also named like my mother, my grandmother, and my sister's name. And so while he was doing it, it was just like he said, "You got to stop doing it." I'm like, so I'm not doing it on purpose. That's my titty doing it. My
It's just the
titty.
nerve
It's
twitching. That's
literally,
really
yeah, it's
what it
literally just
is.
the nerve twitching.
I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't control my titty. But yeah,
Mm.
Well, it's also pretty bad. What I experienced because I want my neck done, but I'm afraid to get the front of my neck done because of how my back went. And really what it was
uh,
is because a lot of your trauma, especially if you don't like get massages and things, um, it goes into your back right
Yeah.
there up, up there. And so like I had a lot of like unresolved trauma and stuff in my back, and he was doing it, and oh man, like I kept like, twitching and moving, and it hurt so bad, and I couldn't deal.
I
And I
don't
was
know
like,
why I need to get
all the tattoos
massages.
I've had in my life, and I couldn't deal that. I was like, but yeah, there's some spots where you know.
Like I
There was
feel like
actually
you lived through that. Excuse me, you lived through that shading one right there. So I feel like in my brain, that shaded one would be like the hardest one.
the most difficult one.
Just because
Yeah.
it's like
I don't know how
you gotta
long that
shade
took.
it and ow.
Well, because this butterfly actually it started just one butterfly. That's all I had on there, but it was one of those one butterflies that I got when I was a teenager that I shouldn't have gotten. So
Oh,
Yeah.
so I
So
had
you
to
covered it
cover
up
it up. I had to cover it up and make it look,
yeah.
into
like it goes
something. So
together.
I
Hey, it
did,
looks
and then
awesome.
I got my tits tatted, and people were like, "Oh, you got a whole
Yeah,
thing."
I've
So
seen your pictures on your
Seen too.
on the website. So I've seen your titties. But yeah, ow, I don't know. I probably couldn't do any more on my chest after this right titty debacle. But the legs don't hurt for me at least. So I might do it more on my legs because yeah, less
What in
pain.
your arms? Like, I don't know, on
I
your
have one
bicep.
on my arm.
On all of it though? Do like a
I
little half sleeve and then flex for me.
yeah.
I like when guys do that.
well, I have like
When
this
they
one I
got the
did
tattoos and they
like
be flexing.
the
I'm
tattoo
like,
on my left arm is just a rest in peace tattoo though. So I don't want to, disrupt the rest in peace arm for my brothers. So,
yeah.
but that's neither here
If
nor
you,
there.
if you wrap more stuff around it, it might make you look gangsta, Like, yeah, I'll wrap you
I am the
to
least
those
gangster
MFers,
person you know.
It would twist the tattoos meaning a little bit if you do all that. So yeah,
I'm the
maybe you're
least
right.
I'm the least gangster person you know.
I
Like
Absolutely.
don't
This is why
know.
I'm
You
joking
would
about
never
it.
know. You would never know. Some of the least people you expect are like the most OGs.
I no, I like if you take a walk through some certain places in my home, you will see I have Disney cookbooks
Yeah,
and I have I have stuff like this just sitting around like my house. So like
little plushies.
plushies and stuffed animals. I am the least I am this the least threatening person you know. Like so
Yeah.
I'm not gangster.
He beat a motherfucker up.
You probably could.
I know.
I can't fight. But I have friends.
I have
Yeah,
friends that can fight.
I
I'm
have
That's all you
friends.
friends.
need. Family and friends.
Yeah,
I'm
like
friends and I'm feisty enough. I'll fight people for him.
yeah. See, there's people like
I believe it. I believe Sarah will kick some
I have
ass.
a
Mhm.
cousin. I have a cousin who was 9 months pregnant and knew I was having an argument, and she ran out the house trying to fight for me.
Oh yeah,
No,
pregnant
she
women,
was 9 months pregnant.
feisty,
I'm like, you two gangster. Like I,
feisty.
I could just imagine that her waddling out the house. Let me at him.
yeah, and she's your height.
Oh
I'm not gonna
shit.
lie.
Oh.
I had an experience when I was pregnant with I want to say it was my first, and my ex-husband was with me, and we literally like parked, and we were my friends were shooting a music video, and we go up there, to hang out and stuff, and there were some skinheads that walked by and like started giving them problems and started threatening them, like pulling out, knives and stuff. And I was mad because now I'm carrying my child that is African American, and I'm with my husband at the time, and I went to my minivan and I went and got a tire iron. I was about to
Oh
beat
wow.
those boys up. I was so mad, but yeah, this I could see where she was trying to kick some ass for you.
Mm-hmm. For real.
So
Like
there's
people
zero
forget that if
toleration.
we feel threatened, we're not gonna just roll over and be like, "Oh no, don't hurt me." We're gonna be like, "Oh, what, motherfucker?
Yeah, no,
You gonna stab me?"
yeah,
See,
I'm a
I'm
whole
gonna say
different story.
in my yesteryears, I probably like, and I'm gonna say this, like I never could fight in my life. Like I will put that out there. I've never had hands. I was, I could kick, I wrestled, but as far as real fighting, like all I would do is like put somebody in like a good submission hold and just hold them there and just hope I can hold it
Mm-hmm.
until they gave up. But I never could fight. And but the thing is, like, what always got me in trouble was my mouth because, like,
Me
I
too.
knew that I would be walking around usually with a group of people that were like 6'4" or taller,
Mm-hmm.
and like, no, like, I didn't get a growth spurt until I was in 12th grade, so I was always 4'11" or shorter until
Mm-hmm.
12th grade. But I just talk. Like all through high school, and then when I got to college, I had a fraternity behind me. I'm like, so what you gonna do with us,
You're a mess. I could
huh?
totally see you doing that.
Oh my god. For real, like mind you, he hasn't cussed in like so long,
Mm.
but from what I've heard, he used to cuss like it like a sailor.
Look, it gets bad. I've gotten to the point where I was cussing like every other word, and I was like, this doesn't even look good.
Yeah,
This doesn't even sound good.
there are three people in this on this earth that never cursed in their life, and they hung out with me, and now you can't stop them from cursing, and they look at me and say, "You were the one that got me to cuss," and you up here, like you know, like this. My birthday this year, a few weeks ago, someone like I said to them, I said, you know what? I was like when I was blowing up my candles and stuff, saying everybody thank you. I'm like, I might start cussing again, and they cheered more for me saying that than for me blowing out the candles. And I'm like, that's a issue.
Well,
That's about
I
right.
didn't cuss. I didn't even say God's name in vain for what until I was 16 because I was out of my house by 16. But yeah, so but then after when I could do whatever the hell I wanted to, I went
I didn't care. You said
full
F it,
sailor, full sailor
Right.
F
mode
it.
with it.
You know.
It's
Question though, I know you said you want to talk about this. I don't want to take too much of your time today, but
Okay.
so you say you wanted to talk about how you got into the industry with all that, all the hoopla,
yeah.
So
You mentioned being a Mormon. How did that
Yes.
happen?
So, well, I mean, I was raised into Mormonism. Um, my whole thing and how I failed with the church, or I didn't fail with them, but I just became, um, I just came to a disagreement with them, um, because there was a time where I wanted to be, a Mormon missionary, and I wanted to, you know, do that for a living. Um, but I personally had like went through childhood like sexual abuse within my family. Um and it being it just being something I had to go through alone, without any support. And I feel like if anybody was supposed to have like supported me and kind of, and that was the same thing with my family as well, as far as my parents. Like, I don't think they ever really, they expected me to just be like, hey, this happened to me, help me. You know what I mean? But, kids don't do that at that certain age that I was. And, we don't know any other way to deal with things besides, deal with them. But there was plenty of things and signs that showed them, hey, like, your daughter needs help. And there's plenty of instances
Yeah.
where, I did, try to kill myself one time, and, I was cutting, and I was, starting to put myself in situations that I didn't need to, and different things. And I did actually eventually come out when I was 14 to my mother. Um, but it was one of those things where I felt pushed away from the church because I was looked at as differently. And maybe, also it was just within myself that I felt that way. But, you know being Mormon, you kind of have to like get a temple recommend, go to the temple, baptize for the dead, and do certain things. And you had to be in this, oh, little, I'm perfect, or I do this, you know what I mean? And it was just hard because I felt like I was lying to my God, and it was just really bad for me. So I ended up removing myself from it. I actually had an argument with my mother when I told her I didn't believe in it anymore. She kicked me out, and so I started, living at my brother's and stuff like that. And so that's when I kind of left the church. When I got locked up for the first time, because I did get locked up back in 2016, that was when it was finally able to be brought back up, and I had the time and the help to deal with those things.
Mhm.
And here. And so I dealt with them, not fully, but I dealt with them. And still, I'm getting into these relationships. I'm still looking for this, this thing, stuff that I, got off of this child abuse, and continuously going through these problems. And when I finally, was put in a predicament where, I was now, my life was at risk, or I was fighting for my life basically for one of my
Mhm.
exes. He ended up getting thrown in prison for trying to, kill me, strangle me to death. And it was one of those things when I was at the time pregnant, living in peaceful paths, and that's when I started doing porn, because I needed to make money and
mhm.
kind of get over this, this feeling this way, because I felt like, shit, worthless, just a whole bunch of stuff. Now I'm sitting here living in this facility away from my kids, so it was a lot. And that's when I started porn, and I came up since then. It was 2019, and I that's when I made Gia Lovely. Um, And it's really helped me being in the industry. It really helped me deal with figuring out my boundaries, figuring out my boundaries and realizing, you know, sorry. But yeah, it helped me realize kind of who I am as a person, as like I said, my true self. And I
Mhm.
I know I haven't been able to be called by Kara in so long, because like I said, I was Mary Jane and then I was Gia. But to finally like be able to like go by my name that my mother gave me, it's pretty comforting.
Pretty
Um,
empowering to
yeah, very
be able
very
to feel it.
empowering. So yeah, that's and
But I
and
can
and
also
I
feel
know
that
go.
I also feel like it's a big weight off your shoulder of, things that you went through and going back to your pure self.
Well, because that's the thing is like something was done to me at such a young age, and it's a really big reason and factor as to why I became the way that I am and had the tendencies that I had, or you know, um, but it, it's just one of those things that I did have to kind of take that power that I felt like was taken from me back.
Mhm.
And that's exactly, that's exactly what I did. Um,
Absolutely.
And I know what you're talking about because you didn't say the actual word, but I do know like it is a big thing because it feels like someone stole like something that was so pure to you, and it just leads you down a different path because it changes your entire perspective
yeah, well,
on life.
it was a thing where it happened to me and it was taken from me, but on top of that, like nobody believed me. Felt like nobody believed me, or nobody cared to help me. And it's nobody else's job. It's me and whomever it happened between.
Yeah.
It's our job to deal with that. But I have asked for help from people that I thought loved me and my family and supported me. But it's one of those things where, okay, you can't get mad that they're incapable of helping, because they're from a completely different generation. So they, not everybody has the ability to reform their brain as far as doing certain things, and it would be nice if they were able to, but also you don't know the trauma that they have, because then they probably didn't deal with that trauma because they were in a generation where you just didn't deal with it.
Yeah.
So now they're afraid to deal with their trauma, which is what dealing with my trauma is going to do, is basically trigger them. And it's just it's always been one of those things where I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to help my mother, deal with her trauma, and I'll be I'll be that person. But it's one of those things where I'm who I am, and I would like to say I'm a good person, a genuine person, a loving person, So I love this person very much.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we can't have a relationship, you know. We can't have a relationship, or we, can't be cordial, and I will always have this feeling because of his incapability of being able to be able to talk to me about it. And at the end of the day, like that's just something where I've gotten at peace with, because I can't, you can't force anybody to be ready for that or do that. So that's where I'm at with things.
I understand. It's just some people just don't want to some people just don't want to believe like I don't know, I almost get how old you were, but like people just don't want to believe a child when they feel that this adult or whatever is more
Yeah, well,
is yeah.
Yeah.
that's definitely a big thing. But also I think because I am of indigenous background,
Yeah.
so and my ancestry. So I'm not gonna say that I wasn't seeing things as a little kid, but it's one of those things where I do think it kind of put me in, a little negative light because they thought I was like crazy already when I was a child. They were like, "Oh, she sees ghosts and things, so we're not gonna believe what she's, you know, what she's
Yeah.
saying." But yeah, it sucks, but I definitely, I've learned from that, being a mother myself now. So
I feel like at the end of the day, people don't really want to come to terms with the fact that someone within their community is a predator. So they would rather suppress it and pretend, oh, it didn't happen, it didn't happen, that's not true, as opposed to being like,
Dante,
yo, my brother, my uncle, my cousin, whatever, my family member or friend within this community did something to someone. They don't
And
really
that's
look,
want to come
that's
to
a
and
terms with
problem
that.
in our community. That is
That
definitely
that's
a
really what
problem in our
happens.
community. Um,
the thing is like I know, like, and I'm not talking about just your religion, but certain religions like automatically feel that this person want to do this because they are said religion, and it's like,
well, and this
people.
is the thing, and being Mormon and in the LDS church, men are held, higher
In high
than women.
regard. Yeah.
Um, they are the priesthood. They do hold those keys. So it's one of those things where I got to a certain point where I knew what was going on was wrong. You know what I mean? Like I'm in love, completely in love with this person, basically my first love. And it's one of those things where I could open my mouth and ruin his life, basically. Um, and have to deal with all of it, or or keep my mouth shut and hold it in. And I think I just what happened is, I had obviously wanted to deal with it beforehand, and it hasn't happened. But I was in a car accident in 2021, and I was in a car accident in 2021, and I was in a coma for a month and a half. I lost my memory and everything, but I got it back slowly but surely. I got my memory back,
Mhm.
but now I'm, immobile because I have a rod in my leg, and so I was in a wheelchair and stuff. Back in my home that I was raised in, with my family, getting flashbacks of these things that would happen to me in this place, and that was one of those things that kind of really kicked it off for me to be like, finally I said it like out in the open and said something about it. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
during that time, I was kind of pushed away from my family, and I ended up leaving home. Because it was something that they, weren't ready to deal with, or didn't like how I dealt with it, whatever it was. Um, so I did feel, some kind of like animosity towards that, but at the end of the day, I feel like family's family, and I,
People victim blame and they take it out on you rather than
yeah,
taking it out on the.
family's family. I do feel like there are some times where I feel like I can't deal with as much as I deal with because I deal with a lot. But I also feel like not a lot of people could deal with the things that I've dealt with, and that is why, I am here to be, someone that likes to share her story, or help people deal with things. So,
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, voicing what happened gives you more power as well
it
because
does.
you're not hiding it anymore and you're coming to terms with it. You're being one with yourself and accepting the fact that you are not what happened to you.
hmm
You are a completely so much more than that, you know?
Exactly. And then it goes to the point where, people can sit there and be like, "Oh, you know, you're playing victim and all that shit." But yeah, that's understandable.
It's
I
triggering.
was a victim, but I'm not playing victim because I'm showing y'all here how, I'm dealing with it and gonna get over this. And that's what I tell myself all the time. I was like, you could be such a bad person. You could really take everything that you know and the powers that you have and really be a nasty, negative, just bad person. because there are a lot of people that, really deserve it from you, but
Yeah.
I'm not that person, you know what I mean? And I do take, I do like that, I haven't been that person. Like, no matter what storms have, been my way or things that have knocked me down, I'll get back up every single time. So,
I mean, I don't see it as like I hear people say people are playing victim because they finally say certain things or they say like, "Hey, I dealt with this. It is very stressful in my life, whatever, and I need to get it out of my system." And they think you're playing a victim because you need to get it out of you. And I don't know. I just find it's messed up that they want you to they blame you for telling what's going on.
hmm
I don't know how to describe it, but it's infuriating because it's like something happened to me. I should tell somebody. Oh, are you playing the victim?
Or
Because I am
why do you want to ruin that person's life?
even though they messed, yeah.
Like, oh, because you've seen stories where they've been like, oh, honey, well, that person's going to college. Do you really want to ruin his life? And you're just like, well, I'm going to college too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's not my fault or this person's fault that someone else did something.
And that's why I
Yeah.
hate when people when they deal with like the court cases and they say, "Oh well, I'm gonna give this person a slap on the wrist because I don't want to mess up their life," even though that person probably gave you a lifetime thing of trauma, and your
Mhm.
life is because of their actions. And I don't.
Yeah,
It bothers
it's a
it
hard
bothers
thing,
me.
especially being in in the system and somebody who's been, locked up and gone through that. I who's to say who's better than the other? You know what I mean? We're all human beings. We all make mistakes.
I
Um,
won't say better than the other. Like I didn't mean to
there's
insinuate that.
certain things obviously that I definitely feel like there's precedence in certain things. But at the end of the day, like, it just takes a lot more to, like, know thoroughly in depth about somebody. You know what I mean? Like, nobody really
Yeah.
knows someone. So,
You might think you know someone, but you
oh
don't
yeah, no.
always, you know.
What? I have a thing for those kind of people.
You like the mystery, I'm
Oh,
guessing?
I hate it. I hate it. I
You
think
hate
I
it?
maybe
Okay.
maybe I'm
I
just
thought
like,
you were like, oh, that's my
no,
kink, the
no. I'm
mysterious
telling you, I'm
guy.
Hmm.
telling you, I'm a fucking fool for those type of people. That's the type of people I've been dealing with my whole life. But
Oh
no.
God, I get it. I totally get it.
um, but
See, this is why the girls go for the funny guys and the nice ones.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
like,
that's exactly
They do?
why. I got a nice
hey,
guy
you
right
know they
now.
do. And
He's too
especially if he
nice.
can
He's
cook.
too nice.
Mm.
I try to push him away, and he's like, "Nope, I ain't going nowhere." Bloop.
Yeah, that's kind of how Ace got me too.
I'm like, all right, I'm just testing you. All right,
Right?
just put a fucking ring on it. What do you wait
See,
for? So
He was
I get
like,
the,
let me feed you, let me take care of you, and this and that. I'm like, oh,
I know it's so hard because I'm
y'all
like, I
say
can heal
that,
myself.
but that's how I get put in the friend zone with everybody. Y'all say that though.
it's honestly, it depends on the person, Sometimes you just don't have that chemistry and
Hmm
you may not see it, but they see it right away and they're like, ooh, I think we're better.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I've friend zoned
I'm just
quite a lot of people.
I'm just saying from my experience.
I had a
From your
friend who
experience,
wanted to be a boyfriend, help me put my bed up, and then I friend zoned him that same day.
See,
He thought
yeah,
he low key thought he was gonna help me break in the bed, but
that's hilarious.
I say hi to
Some
somebody.
bullshit.
Oh, hi, Rostar. Friend zoned.
mind you, I gave him hints. I
Oh,
gave him hints that we were friends, and that was it. He could not take the hint, so I had to tell him straight up, we are not breaking in this bed together.
I got rejected by somebody I wasn't even trying to holler at.
Uh, yo.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say names, but I cause I like a lot of my friends who are around me, I might give a birthday gift to, like, happy birthday, here you go. And I gave this person a birthday gift, and then like 3 days later, I just want to let you know I want a platonic relationship. I'm like, I wasn't even trying to holler at you.
That's crazy. I know, but that's what girls expect nowadays.
Because
Yeah.
we feel like anytime a guy gives us a certain amount of either attention or gifts,
Like
we
guys
want
don't,
something out of it.
it's very rare for somebody to do something without anything in return.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where, I don't like if I'm gonna give you something, if I'm gonna loan you money, you know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna, front you something, do whatever. Like if I'm gonna give that to you, I'm never gonna expect anything back in return.
Yeah.
Because one expecting things in general is really stress on yourself.
Mm.
So like I'm never gonna do that. But that's why girls act that way for sure. Because, things are, you know, tit for tat. Things have always been, people
Mm-hmm.
always want to talk about, oh, I don't, sell my pussy or do this shit, yada yada yada. But like in a sense, if you're in a relationship, you kind of do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You do something to get something in return. That's what, you know,
Yeah, I
an
always, it's
agreement is.
interesting to me that cause I said earlier in this podcast, I'm like the most innocent person you can meet, but I'm really genuinely just kind to people. Like I don't care like who you are. I'm just a kind person. But
Mm-hmm.
because you are a kind person, it makes you think, oh, this person is kind because he wants to have sex with everybody he interacts with. And
Mm-hmm.
like some people know me
Yeah,
like
that
no,
sucks.
they know I'm more asexual than being very crazy out there with it, whatever. And it's weird because like it's like no, I'm just nice to people, whatever. And like there are some people who I wouldn't mind being in a relationship with, and like that's here nor there, whatever. But it's kind of like, and people assume like
Mm-hmm.
I have been assumed to have had sex with so many other people and have had quiet relationships with some people, and I'm like, no, like me and this person are just kicking it, just hanging out, like not even sexual. Like they hang with me and then they go with their dude. It's kind of like no,
Hmm.
but it's just a weird dynamic because I'm a nice person, and because I'm nice, it's like, oh, he just waited for that time he can have sex with me, and no,
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy coming. Like, I'm someone who I feel like, because I have a lot of dude friends, um, or have had like a lot of dude friends. I mean, I have like a few friends now that like come around still, but it's one of those things where growing up, I was, kind of that friend that always would be like, yeah, you can hit it, like we would have sex and stuff like that. But I'm personally like sapiosexual, so I'm attracted to one's like mind and intellectual conversations and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So, sex, doesn't necessarily matter to me that much. Like as long as like we can lay in bed together and, you know, sit there and make each other feel good, talk, whatever. I'm
Mm-hmm.
fine. Watch a movie together. I'm fine with that. Make dinner together. Things like that. That's what, basically attracts me. So, but that's also something I wouldn't have learned if I didn't start doing, porn and shit like that. So, that's
Yeah.
another
I
reason
mean,
why I'm grateful for,
so I
being in the industry.
always because I find it interesting when I tell people like, yeah, and like I started doing stuff in porn in general in 2018. Okay, so that's what 17 years this year. Was that? Yeah, 17 years this year. And like I said, yeah, I've only penetrated one vagina in my entire 17 years, and it's kind of like,
The
oh,
way
okay,
you said it.
that happened, but okay, and that was only like a few years ago. But it's like it's
Okay,
it's
well,
not. It's not something that I actively like pursue because one, I know like when it comes to people in the industry, whatever, I'm not talent, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, and it's for me for more so in the industry stuff, it's like I'm more friends with them or whatever. So I'm super nice because I'm on the photographer side and I love seeing others do great. And if I can help you be great, because like I don't
That
make
gets
all
you
my
off.
money, I don't make my money from porn, like my wealth isn't from porn, whatever. So if I can use what I have to help others, I
Mhm.
greatly go out my way to help make that happen, whatever. And then if something isn't consistent with somebody, they try to find the flaw in that, and try to say he's only doing this so he could do this. And it's not even in my brain that it's
Yeah,
there. So it's I don't know. I don't know.
it's
I
It's
mean,
just
mind
well,
you,
does
it's
it?
just because a lot of general society acts a certain way that people just have these assumptions and prejudices of other people.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
they
You
do.
know, a lot of people project their own feelings and insecurities onto someone else.
Hmm.
So sometimes those people that are thinking that you're out there trying to get every bad bitch out there, that's probably what they're trying to do and are not succeeding at.
So, but jump off this because this has went crazy. What do you have coming up that like people we can look forward to?
Um, so right now, as of right now, I want to say I do have some scenes that haven't been released yet,
Mhm.
that are going to be coming out. But as far as right now, because I'm 6 months, if you didn't know, I'm
Mhm.
6 months and I'm doing May, so
Yay!
I probably won't be, really getting full time back until until fall. I will probably be at, Exotica Miami.
Mhm.
Um, maybe pop in for a day at XViz if I'm just really trying to go out to Miami for some sun beach day.
Hey, that'd be
Um,
exciting.
because I'll be pregnant and naked any day.
Right?
And so I'll probably hit that nude beach. But besides that, really, I really don't have anything. I'm gonna definitely start going more fetish, girl only. Um, that,
Okay,
and then I'll
may I
probably
ask?
be doing some events
May
because
I
I do
ask what
my
what type of
events.
fetishness?
Fetish. Okay, so I do feet. I do feet fetish, and then just
It's sad.
ass worship, ass worship. I personally, my whole thing is anal fisting. So I like to be anal fisted, and I'll probably do lots of those stretching on my ass, things like that.
I'm
More
gonna say
so.
this.
Can I fill out an application? I've still never done it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I just shot with oh yeah, that's actually what's gonna be released soon. I can't believe I forgot that. But I literally just came back from New Jersey and shot with La Diabla. And
Hmm.
so she, yeah, it's a hot scene. She ended up fisting me, and I think she was able to get fisted both my pussy and my ass.
Oh wow.
So I'm excited to see
Okay.
it.
I'm gonna say this really quick, and
Spicy.
I don't think you saw my face when you said you want feet stuff. I am extremely podophobic. Extremely podophobic.
Why? Like you just don't like feet,
I
or like what is
don't.
it about it?
It's more so the damn nubs of a damn toe.
It's a nub of a toe. I
I
don't
hate
know.
toes. Like,
My toes
uh,
are cute though.
I don't care how
I
cute you
love
think.
feet. I'll put a
I
whole
don't.
foot in my
I don't
mouth.
care how cute you think a foot is. It like if it's in a stock or a stocking, and or if it's inside of a shoe. As long as I gotta see your damn bare feet and
You're
see
hilarious.
those damn nubs with toenails on it, and like if you touch like if my dick is hard and ready to go, and you touch it with your foot, soft, and it's not
Instant. Boom.
and like yeah, it is not coming back for the rest of the day. You killed it. You killed it.
For
It's
the
dead.
rest of the day.
It's dead. It needs a chance to recuperate. It's been through some trauma. So don't like,
No,
yeah.
I gotta keep the feet down. You gotta keep the feet down.
No,
It's
no, it's just I just never like feet. It's something
Mhm.
about it. I just never like the look of like I've shot her with photo shoots and stuff, and when it came time to do like pictures of feet, I will put the camera in an angle that I know it's on her
he
foot
will literally
and
just
look
because I
away.
have the camera near me, he'll be like,
That's fucking hilarious. Oh
And
my
just
god.
and just
I don't think I've ever
hope
met one of you.
and just
I am not
hope
kidding.
and
He
just
does not
hope the
look.
pictures look good because I don't want to look at your feet.
Yeah, yeah. He literally will just take like 12 pictures the same angle. You kind of move your feet around for it, you
It's
know?
so
And
hilarious.
then he'll show them
So
to
are you
you
telling
and be
me
like, all
okay,
right, tell me.
so are you like so then I guess you would be like more attracted to women with nubs?
Yeah, I've said that before.
We've made this joke before. We've made this joke before, yes. He
Yes,
would totally date an amputee. Totally, totally.
Hey, there's people for everybody.
yeah.
We're
Like
accepting
if
girlfriend
if
applications for Raw Star over
Yes,
here.
that would be awesome.
I've said this before. Like I don't know, like a person who can attach that foot or not, and just walk around like their happy life, and then when it comes time to do anything sexual, just take those off. We good.
Take them off, baby.
We good. We
Take
good, baby.
take those
We
feet off.
we good. It's like yeah, that would be the sexiest thing to
That
me.
would be his dream come true.
Yeah, the sexiest thing for me. Yeah, that's it right there. Like you know how girl like they say girls want flowers and stuff. Take your feet off, baby.
Uh-uh.
Oh my god.
Take
You're
your feet
dead.
off, baby.
You are
Oh,
a
oh,
mess.
that's so sexy. Oh yes, take that right foot off.
He makes
Look,
it
you can
sound
Oh,
have
like she's slipping up on Fred.
you can
yes.
have your own production company for like amputee girls.
Nubs
That could
only.
that
Nubs
would be
only. I am
Nubsonly.com.
down for nubs
yeah.
only.
Only nubs.
I would be the number. I would be the number one
Nubs
subscription to.
nuts or
Yeah,
something.
Nubs
Nub
nuts.
nuts.
nubs only. I'll be the number one subscriber. How you make all that money? This
Oh
dude
my
named
god.
Star gives us all that money. Why? He just loves the nubs.
He loves them nubs.
Loves the
Oh
nubs.
my god. I can't. Look, there's always a fetish for something, and this
Of
literally
course.
proves our point.
Of
Oh
course there
God.
is.
This
Not to,
proves the point. There's literally
and like
so many fetishes out there.
for future wifey out there, if I ever get a wife, I'm not saying that you need to cut your feet off, but it could help. It
All
could help.
right, and that is it for this podcast.
Yeah.
With the hipster
We've
today.
gone down the rabbit hole.
Yes, we went down the rabbit hole. There's no way back. And now and now she has a story to say. I went on this podcast and this man started talking about cutting off feet. That's when we had to end. So tell us, where can we find you?
Um, so you can
And
find all my platforms at my allmylinks.com/lovely LLC, lovely with a 3, LOV3 LLC.
where can they find you, Miss Sarah Lace?
You guys can find me on iamsarahLace.com. All of my links and social medias will be right on there.
You can find us at the Burbank Memphis on Instagram, burbankmisfits.com, Burbank Memphis on Instagram and on Facebook, and burbankmisfits.com is everything we do from fitness, the stuff that Sarah does, our merchandise, and
Spicy.
all the stuff that I do. I'm RAWSTARR on Facebook and no, I'm lying, on Instagram and on Twitter. Again, ma'am, thank you for coming on. You are an awesome human being. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
And we
Thank
look forward to all
you.
the greatness that you do in the future. And
Thank
yeah, we'll hope to see you at one of these random events.
Of course, of course. Have a good day,
All
guys.
right.
We love
Be
you,
well,
Kyle.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.